Right, so it's the Grinch! That's right, everybody, it's the holiday season and Christmas spirits are way too high for my liking, so I've decided to bring them crashing right back down with an Am I the A-Hole Christmas edition. So grab your jang jinglers and your big boing bounders because we're jumping straight into it. Alright, first up, am I the A-Hole for giving crappy Christmas gifts and ruining my marriage? Alright, so I, a 31-year-old woman, married my soon-to-be ex-husband, a 33-year-old man, in 2018. My in-laws never liked me and made it clear. My soon-to-be ex insisted that they're just putting up a tough exterior and that they'll grow to love me. To show how evil they are, one time I joined them for dinner and brought a cake I'd made because I was always raised to be a gracious guest. When I stepped into the kitchen and offered the cake to his mother as a thank you for inviting me, she took my plate over to the garbage bin, dumped it in, and handed me the plate back. When I told my husband what she did, he confronted her, and all of a sudden, the crocodile tears started, and she claimed she grabbed the plate but didn't get a good grip. I let go too quickly, and it fell to the floor, so of course it had to be thrown away. My sister-in-law confirmed that that was what happened. Damn, the whole family are out to get her. My soon-to-be ex also owned his own business and they called me a gold digger behind his back. Of course, they insisted on a prenup, which I didn't care about because I never thought my marriage would end and it would appease them and may allow them to finally treat me kindly. But nope, his business failed once COVID hit. We went through his savings on my own trying to keep it afloat, and I refused to go into debt to keep it going, so he closed it down. In 2022, he was suffering from really bad depression because he lost his business and couldn't find new work. He suggested we move to his hometown, closer to his family, so he had a larger support network. Against my best judgment, we did. He wanted to only work part-time while he tried to restart his business, so I became the main breadwinner. And as with most wives, I became the person in charge of buying gifts. Stupid old me thought that buying them thoughtful, expensive gifts would finally make them see that I wanted to be accepted by them. Gifts to us were a couple's gifts, but clearly for my soon-to-be ex only. Every holiday was spent with them, monthly dinners with the whole family. After a year, I realised that if I ever tried to talk or join a conversation, everyone would go quiet. So I just stopped talking when I visited. Damn, I'm surprised you even continue to visit. That's so awkward. Well, in early December, they finalised plans for Christmas. A few days later, my soon-to-be ex said that his family decided that they didn't want me to join them for Christmas Eve dinner and Christmas lunch because I ruined the family vibe. I replied, fine, we'll do our own thing instead. My soon-to-be ex, however, sheeply looked away and said that he was still going to go. I was livid and so disappointed in him. Valid. That was the moment that I knew my marriage was over. So I returned the presents I had bought for his family. In their place, I got one pair of novelty business socks for the father-in-law, a supermarket brand bottle of shampoo for the mother-in-law, and the nastiest perfume I could find at the dollar store for the sister-in-law. The most expensive gift was a large rawhide bone for my brother-in-law and his wife's chihuahua, too big for it to get its jaw around, rendering it useless. That's so funny. I saved about $600 to put on a deposit for a new apartment. My husband came home from Christmas lunch telling me I humiliated him and embarrassed him in front of his family. I asked him why he would think I would buy nice gifts for people who clearly don't like me and don't want me around. Well, I served divorce papers last week. Remember how he was supposed to be a millionaire by now, so he had that prenup? Soon-to-be ex is not eligible for any of my savings. It was required to keep separate accounts or alimony. He doesn't have money for rent or auto insurance. Not my problem anymore. Some of my friends and family are on my side and are proud that I went out in a blaze of glory, but others are telling me I was being way too petty, which isn't really like me. So, am I the a-hole? I mean, no, first of all, with a prenup, he made his bed, he's got to lie in it. And second of all, the relationship realistically was over the second he said he was going to spend Christmas with his family and not you. I mean, fine early on in a relationship with your boyfriend and girlfriend, but as a married couple in their 30s, what the hell is that about? And if he wanted nicer presents for his family, he could have bought them himself. He's a useless loser, his family suck, you did the right thing. Although what did the chihuahua do to get a bone too big for it? Although having said that, I feel like chihuahuas are notoriously evil dogs. Some of them are sweet, some of them are devil spawn. I'm guessing this one was the latter. What do the comments say? Not the a-hole. He chose his family over you and still expected you to buy all the presents. This was perfectly planned and well deserved for every one of them, including him. He only worked 12 hours a week at Walmart so he could do non-existent work restarting his business. I make just over 6 figures and I can't believe I didn't realize years ago I was a family ATM. Not the a-hole. You were treated horribly. Good riddance. I agree. Pretty overwhelming. As always, we're going to be keeping score so you can compare scores at the end. For me, currently, and I'm guessing for everyone else, it is 1-0 to the NTAs. All right, next up. My parents confessed last Christmas that my sister was the product of my mother's affair. Oh my goodness. Am I the a-hole for cutting my parents out of my life? This is insane drama. So I'll cut right to the chase. I, a 19-year-old male, was always treated as the golden child of the family. Lavish birthdays, lavish gifts, lavish everything. I liked the attention initially when I was a child, but as I grew older, I grew more and more sympathetic to how my parents treated my sister, who's 18. I never understood it. I initially thought it was because I was a boy and she was a girl, and that maybe they were sexist. It wasn't that they treated her badly, it's just that she was a complete afterthought, and as I grew older, that hurt me a lot. So I started working part-time jobs at 14 and started saving up money to get her birthday gifts and other gifts. It wasn't much, but it had thought and effort, something which my parents lacked. It was pretty obvious that my parents were the biggest cause of my sister's self-esteem issues. They always talked about how smart I was, how I was destined for big things, and they bragged about it to other friends and extended family, but they hardly ever praised my sister. I was pretty fed up with it all, and after graduating high school, I rejected an offer to go to an Ivy League because I didn't want my parents to help me pay for a college education. I did get acceptance into a decent university which offered me a full ride scholarship, and so I accepted that. A year later, my sister too got accepted into the same university with almost a full ride scholarship. 4 months ago, we were at our parents' house for the Christmas holidays, and my parents confessed that my sister was the product of an affair that my mother had. They straight up said that they will never love her, that she was a mistake, and that they wanted nothing to do with her anymore now that she was 18. It was shocking. My sister was obviously devastated. My sister and I immediately left the next day, but before leaving, I told my parents that they were dead to me and that I wanted nothing to do with them anymore. I seriously hated them. I'm not even sure why my mum was crying. Anyways, it's been 3 months. My sister and I have both taken a break in college for a semester, and my sister is still struggling extremely hard, but we've moved in together and it's gotten better the last couple of weeks, and she's also started therapy last week. I'll never contact my parents ever again in spite of all they did for me. I'm dead set on that. But I wonder, am I the a-hole? This focus on genes that some parents and kids can have with their parents doesn't make that much sense to me. Like if I raised a kid for 18 years and then found out it was genetically wasn't mine, I wouldn't care. It's not like those 18 years just completely disappear. You still love them as your own. Even with pets, you have a dog for 5 years. It's got nothing to do with you genetically, but you've been there since it was little. You've raised it for 5 years. It's part of the family. You love it like it's part of the family. What difference does it actually make? I get for the dad, it would probably be a sore subject. It's kind of a constant reminder that your wife had an affair and, a mark of embarrassment for the wife as well, but not actually the daughter's fault. And obviously, as far as the mum's concerned, the daughter's as genetically hers as the son is. So none of this, we'll never love you, you're a mistake, we want nothing to do with you. That is insane to me. And I definitely get being on your sister's side. I guess I find it so hard to put myself in that position because I can't imagine cutting my parents off for many reasons at all. If they did some of this, I'd be like, this is so weird, so messed up. I think I'd be just constantly arguing my sister's case. I don't know if I'd cut them all off forever, but they're definitely the ones in the wrong here. Maybe if you never contacted the parents again, I'd be like, maybe that's an overreaction, but you're not. You're asking if you're being an a-hole, and I think you're within your rights to do it. And clearly your parents are the a-holes in this situation. This is just insane. And the poor sister, she probably feels some level of almost validation for her feelings. This kind of I've always suspected that my parents don't love me as much as they love my brother, and I can't figure out why. And now she's figured it out and been you know what, this makes sense. So I wasn't delusional or just seeing things or overthinking things. I was right, you were treating me different my entire life. What do the comments say? Not the a-hole, you're doing the right thing. They decided to blame and punish the only innocent person in this situation. They suck. I know, yeah, what's the sister done wrong to deserve that? Not the a-hole, good for you for not leaving your sister to fend for herself. She was not the person who cheated. Your parents are pretty gross, IMO. And just dumb. Just so stupid. You know what? If it hurts that there's a constant reminder that she should go to couples therapy. I don't get how you can raise a child for 18 years and then just abandon them. Good luck, OP. Hope you and your sister do really well in life and share not a moment or a penny with the AHs who would do that to their kids. kids. At this point, it almost seems fair to stop calling them parents, just two shitty DNA donors. Well, in this case, only the mother is the DNA donor, but that might be rubbing salt into the wounds. But you know what? They deserve it. So yeah, I mean, I'm on the fence. I think I'd have to be in this scenario to realize how strongly it would make me feel and whether I'd actually just cut off my parents forever. But them having not actually put me into that position in real life, I can't picture cutting them out of my life forever. I'm curious what you guys think here. Because, I mean, the comments definitely don't think that that's an overreaction either. So yeah, not the a-hole, and it's 2-0 to the NTAs. All right, next up. Am I the a-hole for leaving my husband and stepdaughter stranded on Christmas when I found out he gave her my big Christmas gift? So my husband, a 41-year-old man, is the worst at gift giving. We have been together for over 3 years, and after the first year of not receiving anything for my birthday, anniversary, Christmas, and Valentine's, Mother's Day was the last straw after being told that I wasn't his mother. So I decided to start matching energy. Father's Day came and I was gone all day, when normally I would have put together a big lunch/dinner and drive 30 to 45 minutes to go get his daughter, who's now 16, so that they could spend the day together. He called me in the afternoon and I was polite, but not initiating conversation. He asked me when I was picking up his daughter and I replied that I had plans and that I wasn't aware that I was supposed to pick her up since nothing was communicated to me. When he responded with, "It's Father's Day," I used his response back. "You are not my father." I had anticipated him getting upset and knew a constructive conversation would not be had. So when he started to raise his voice, I told him check under the table and hung up. I'd left a letter to him communicating how much I was hurt about going out of my way for him and not to have any sort of reciprocation. He called me later and said that he would try to be better and work on it. I ended up going to get his daughter during the week so that they could enjoy a dinner together. Background info, he drives big rig trucks, so the vehicle we use for everyday travel is mine. He's been getting better about the gifts. It's more of a go pick something out and I'll pay for it, which I really don't mind. He does the same thing with his daughter. I do all the shopping for his family gifts when it comes to birthdays and holidays. Cut to a week before Christmas and I wake up to my favourite coffee drink and my husband taking me out to eat breakfast, followed by a trip to the mall to pick out my Christmas gift. I rarely splurge on myself when it comes to purses and clothes. I have a preteen son from my first marriage, so I tend to be more practical on myself and spend on him for his birthday and Christmas. My stepdaughter, however, is very materialistic and is always asking for money or something expensive. And between her father and his family and her mother and her family and her stepfather, she always gets it. Well, I'd been repeatedly saying out loud that I needed a new purse since mine was hanging on by a thread and had decided to invest in a good designer handbag. I started saving money and looking online for my new dream purse. So imagine my surprise and excitement when we get to the department store and I see that they have my dream purse in stock. My husband sort of gave me a look when he saw the price, and so I told him that I could contribute and explained how I had been saving so that I could save enough to get this purse that I've been dreaming about for months. He shook his head and said that I deserve it and that he would get it for me, but also gave me the expectation that since he was getting me this, he really couldn't afford to get me anything else. I screamed with delight and told him that was okay, I didn't need anything else. With that taken care of, my husband asked me if it was okay to go get his daughter and take her Christmas shopping. I had tons to do at home in preparation for the holidays, so this worked out so that I could have the house empty to get what I needed done. I was reaching to get my new purse when we arrived home, and he said for me to leave it because he had another gift he had previously purchased for me that he was going to put inside the purse for me to open on Christmas. I was on cloud 9, so I kissed him and left my bag and went inside. I was still busy cleaning and decorating when he got home later that night, and the rest of the days before Christmas were all a blur, with me trying to get the house ready for the holiday. I hosted Christmas Eve at my house with my family, and on Christmas Day I slept in, tired from the night before, and woke up with enough time to brush my teeth before we headed out to go get his daughter and then drive to spend the day at his mother's house. I fell asleep on the drive and woke up after his daughter was picked up and we were already en route to his mum's. I turned around to greet his daughter, and that's when I saw her rummaging and holding my new purse. "Where did you get that purse?" I asked her, and the car fell completely silent. I looked at my husband and he stayed silent with both hands on the wheel, looking straight ahead. I asked her again, this time in a louder, more stern tone. She looked down and quietly mumbled, "My dad gave it to me." She already knows something's up. Why is she looking down like that and mumbling? "You what?" I screamed. "How could you think it's okay to give her my new purse?" He told me to calm down and I cut him off and screamed, "No," and then turned back to his daughter and told her that her father had no right to give her my purse and that she needed to give it back, to which she refused. I could feel my anger raging and then subsiding to a feeling of sadness and complete defeat. I put my coat over my head and leaned against the window, trying to cover my face and mouth as tears started running down my cheeks. My husband pulled over at the next gas station and his daughter bolted out, taking the purse with her. He tried to comfort me, to which I slapped his hand away and told him not to touch me and gave him a look of disgust. He informed me that after he dropped me off that day, he picked up his daughter, took her shopping, and on the way taking her home, she noticed the bag and saw the purse. She begged and pleaded with him to please let her have it. She reminded him about all the times he never got her a gift and how giving her this purse would make up for it, and that played on his heart, and he finally caved and gave her my purse. He tried to say that he was going to make it up to me, and I asked him how, knowing it was impossible. Surely he could just buy her the purse as well, right? He had already spent his money and made it clear that he wasn't going to have money to buy me anything else. Oh yeah. I couldn't help but get upset as I tried to get him to understand how hurt I felt, and how it's not like she was suffering, with her getting to open presents from her mother and stepfather, plus gifts from their family, along with the gifts she was going to get from his family, and that he already spent money on her for her Christmas presents, and that it was my one gift. I know Christmas is not about getting presents, but I was extremely upset that my husband could be so thoughtless and not consider the amount of pain that this was going to cause me. His phone rang and it was his daughter calling from inside, asking him to come inside because she needed money to buy something. As he was walking into the store, I looked back and tears began to fill my eyes as I saw all the gifts I picked out for his family with care. Something came over me and I stopped crying and got out and got in the driver's seat and wiped my face and peeled out of the gas station parking lot, leaving my husband and stepdaughter behind. I turned my phone off and drove back to town and spent the day with my family at my cousin's house and stayed with them, not returning any of my husband's phone calls and not returning home until late the following day. Wow, brutal situation, but leaving them stranded. The only phone call I did return was the one from my stepdaughter's mother to set her straight, after she left me a hateful message about leaving her daughter stranded because I was jealous her father bought her a new purse. I told her she had been told a lie and informed her of the truth, that in fact her father did not buy her a new purse. He had bought me a new purse and she played on her father's emotions after he had already bought her expensive items from her Christmas list to guilt him to giving her my purse. She apologized and tried to come up with a solution, to which I replied for her not to bother. The damage has been done. I found out through my sister-in-law that my husband's brother went to go get them, and the story came out later that evening. His mother is on his side, while the brother and sister-in-law and aunts and uncles sided with me and got onto his daughter. Why is the mother on his side? I guess it's because it's her daughter. I have not spoken to his daughter since Christmas, and things are unsettling at home. I've become more distant from my husband, and when I make dinner, I don't serve him a plate. I serve only my son and myself, and I only engage in conversation with my son. Damn, is this relationship even salvageable at this point? He's tried to reach out to me at night when we're in bed, and I always end up crying. I'm not angry or mad, I just feel nothingness. He's back on the road and I do miss him, but I can't shake the feeling of how he let me down, and I cannot hide my looks of disappointment, looking to see what others have to say about the situation. I mean, abandoning them both at the store does feel a little brutal, but he has massively fucked up. Like, why has he sunk all his money into, well, all the remainder of his money into getting you that and giving it away? Kind of mad as well from like the teenage daughter to hear that it's someone else's gift and still be like, no, I don't care, I still want it. This just sounds like the husband is getting away with way too much. Like, the fact that he doesn't do gifts for you and doesn't plan Mother's Day and expects you to do everything in terms of gifts and Father's Day and all that. Like, it just sounds like he doesn't prioritize his wife at all, and it's just sad. I can understand why people might say abandoning them at a gas station is a bit far, and like driving and not seeing them the next day is maybe a bit extreme, but I don't think this person's the asshole here. They've been let down way too many times for way too long. I think it was only a matter of time before they were like, you know what, I've had enough. All right, what do the comments say? The way he has continually ignored you on all major events and milestones and then gave away your first actual gift that you had to choose and partially pay for is appalling. Not the a-hole. Does he even want a wife? He doesn't sound like he cares for you at all. Imagine begging for scraps from this useless dude. You had to beg for him to acknowledge you, do the bare minimum and get you a gift that he readily gave to his daughter. Did he end up getting you anything after? Probably not. I don't think so, because he ran out of money. For this year, I hope you find the dignity to stop begging for your husband to give a share. Not the a-hole. But why are you in this marriage? You don't matter to your husband, period. I think they're married and they've got a family together. I would say I wouldn't necessarily walk away straight away, but I'd be like, this is a turning point. Like, from now on, you really need to start pulling your finger out, because like, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live my life feeling underappreciated and underthought of and like other people are a priority. I mean, I get parents prioritizing their kids over all else, but you shouldn't feel like this much less of a priority. So yeah, I think there needs to be a bit of an ultimatum. Never again should you be treated like this or feel like this, but not the a-hole. Which means that it's 3-0 to the NTAs. All right, next up. Kids open their presents without me. My husband is usually a great husband and father, but I am so effing pissed right now. I don't think I've ever been this mad. I woke up this morning around 8:30 when I heard the kids running around. I knew they'd be eager to open their Christmas presents, so I got up immediately. I have a lot of trouble sleeping for various reasons, so my husband lets me sleep in every morning and watches the kids until I wake up naturally, or I have to get up to help the kids get ready for the day. He's alone with them for about half an hour to an hour. He knows what time to wake me up if I oversleep. So I come into the living room and there is wrapping paper everywhere. All the presents are already unwrapped and the kids, 5 and 7, are playing with them. I immediately started crying and walking back into the bedroom when my sadness also turned into anger and I started screaming like crazy. I am so mad. I spent so much time thinking about what to get the kids, ordering it or driving around to find it in the stores, wrapping them and everything. And I feel like I was completely deprived of the joy of seeing their faces when they open their presents, which is one of the best parts of Christmas. My husband said he videotaped it. I screamed at him why he either couldn't make the kids wait or he could have just come and woken me up. He said, I never wake you up in the morning. And I said, it's fucking Christmas morning. You didn't think I wanted to watch the kids unwrap the presents? And I called him an asshole. He just said sorry. He didn't say I overreacted. I'm really hurt right now and I don't even know how to get over it. I don't feel like doing anything Christmassy today. I'm just so disappointed in everybody. I guess this was more of a rant to get this off my chest, but you can certainly tell me if I was the asshole or not. Also, if you have any suggestions on how to mediate my hurt feelings, that would be really great. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. That is brutal. I said it in the Christmas gifts video. Like, this for me is such a big thing for my family. Like, my dad does the exact same thing, sets up massively for Christmas and just cannot wait to watch us individually unwrap each present. So I really feel like I feel her here. And also the mix of the sadness from missing it and the rage at the husband for not waking her up or thinking to make the kids wait. Like, what is wrong with him? I wonder if he's really pissed off at something she's done and is like, this is his petty way of getting revenge. Because, like, I don't see how this could be an oversight. How could you possibly not think about this? It's like starting Christmas without someone whilst they're literally upstairs. Like, it's such a big thing for everyone, right? Like, even if not all parents care as much as mine do, surely it would cross your mind as the kids start opening the presents to be like, hold on, the one that set these all up, that went out to the shops and bought them and ordered them and wrapped them and all that kind of stuff isn't here. Maybe we should wait. Like, of course. I think this is a valid crash out. What do the comments say? Our rule for Christmas morning with our kids was always wait until mum and dad get up and make a coffee before opening presents. They learn how to make a coffee at an early age to speed up the process. Wait, your kids are 5 and 7. This isn't your first family Christmas. What's happened on previous years? I'm assuming you didn't sleep through them. This has never been an issue before. In the past, I was either up when the kids were up or they waited to open their presents, so I didn't think it'd be different this year. Not the a-hole, but since you're German and have trouble sleeping, where is this going? And probably being awake in the morning, I would consider going back to your roots and opening presents on the evening of the 24th. That way you can't miss it and pass on a bit of your cultural heritage to your kids. That's just a suggestion, of course, and I know that Ratschläge sind auch Schläge. What the hell does that mean? Advice is also a form of violence. It conveys the idea that advice can be unpleasant or unwelcome. There's not a direct English equivalent, but it's similar to advice is not always nice or the truth sometimes hurts. Damn, emotional awareness from the Germans there. Shout out at them. You know, sometimes when you're trying to rant and someone starts giving you advice and you're like, stop giving me advice. I just want to be pissed off for a little bit. Let me rant. Stop trying to help me solve it unless I've asked you to help me solve it. Dad was inconsiderate. The kids could have been told that they could open one and then they have to help make breakfast and wake mum when it's ready. I bet mum is mostly angry because she's expected to do all the work and is not included in any of the fun. And that's pretty much what it comes down to. But you helped set up all the fun. You deserve to be a part of it. not the a-hole. So that makes it 4-0 to the NTAs. It is a clean sweep. Can the a-holes at least get a consolation in these last few? All right, next up. Am I the a-hole for telling my father and his girlfriend that the gift that she got me was creepy and invasive? Interesting. What's this going to be? So I'm expecting my first child due in February. Congratulations. This is the first grandchild on both sides, so everyone is very excited about it. My father's girlfriend Lena, fake name, and I have an okay relationship, but we're very different people. I don't like most of the things she likes and vice versa. There's no bad blood between us, but she can be a bit pushy sometimes, so we're not exactly close. One of the biggest differences between me and Lena is our stance on influencer culture. She loves it, I don't. Oh god, am I gonna get personally offended by this? Since I got pregnant, she's been sending me posts on Instagram of random influencers talking about their experiences with childbirth, motherhood, etc. That's kind of sweet. I mean, you know, here's a bit of experience from someone who's been through it. Here's what to expect. On the face of it, I don't mind it. Never made pregnancy content myself, but I can see the value in it. Well, a few months ago, one of her favorite influencers gave birth and filmed the whole thing. She posted a cutesy, poorly edited video of the baby being born and her entire family watching from outside the delivery room with country music playing in the background. Lena sent me that video and I remember telling her I'd never do anything like that. My husband and I celebrated Christmas at my cousin's place with the rest of my family. When it was time for us to exchange and open our gifts, Lena gave me an envelope. Inside was a videographer's business card. She told me that she was hiring him to film my birth. Someone else deciding that your coochie is going to be caught in 4K pushing out a baby is crazy. I seriously cannot imagine being filmed whilst going through a medical procedure, and I don't want anyone besides my husband at the hospital with me. I've been clear about that since I announced my pregnancy. Yeah, actually, not only is it going to be filmed, but you're going to have a stranger in there zooming in on it. Just holding the bed, screaming as the baby's coming out and being like, oh, this is going to be a great thumbnail photo. Keep pulling that face. I didn't want to embarrass Lena, so I thanked her when she gave me the card. Yesterday, my husband and I had lunch with her and my father, and I told her that while I appreciated the gesture, I didn't feel comfortable with a videographer. So valid. Also, if that is how you said it, nice way to convey the message. I said she didn't have to get me anything else for Christmas, but I'd appreciate it if she didn't hire him. Both she and my father got offended, and we ended up having an argument. At one point, Lena started crying and said that she couldn't understand why I'd pass up on the opportunity of creating such a beautiful memento of my child's birth. I replied that I found the idea of having someone film me during such a vulnerable moment to be creepy and invasive, and that this wasn't the first time I expressed that I was uncomfortable with it. Yeah, that's the other thing as well, like, she knew. My father said that it was very rude of me to say that and refuse the gift, and that he's very disappointed in me. My husband agrees with me, as does pretty much my whole family. I really don't think I did anything wrong, but my father's reaction is freaking me out. Am I the a-hole? I definitely don't think so. I think you could have been valid on the day being like, by the way, after, I mean, definitely accepting the gift with grace and gratefulness was a good thing to do. But you could have definitely been after being like, oh, you know, this isn't really for me. I've kind of said that before. Do you mind if we don't do that? Waiting a whole day and bringing it up at dinner. When else are you supposed to bring it up? I guess creepy and invasive are kind of brutal words to describe what is a thoughtful gift, but that is after the argument or during it. Like, Lena started crying and couldn't understand, and it's like, well, you want the real reason? It's weird. I don't want some stranger filming my butthole and front butthole for the whole world to see. Oh, it doesn't say whether Lena's had a kid before. I feel like that would make a really big difference. Like, if you've gone through pregnancy and childbirth yourself, surely you'd know that that's going to be a sensitive moment, and that not everyone would want it being filmed by a randomer. What do the comments say? Not the a-hole. Do not tell them when you're in labor, and tell the hospital that both of them aren't allowed in the delivery room. I can see Lena whipping out her phone, and if your dad doesn't have your back during a moment that is purely yours and your husband's, then he can wait outside too. Wait, would people usually have their dad in the delivery room either? That feels also invasive. And would a dad really want to witness that? Surely not. The partner I can understand, but anyone else? Surely not. Yeah, I don't plan on saying anything until the baby's here. Not the a-hole. Giving birth is very private and her opinion doesn't matter at all. Also, it's very creepy. Like, would she and your father want to see the video? Just go LC with them for a while and be careful. She might post pictures and videos of your child to social media without your consent. I'm not sure I'd take the influencer video she sent me as an example of this, but I do think she'd want to watch it. My father hasn't said he would, but he's never been squeamish and has seen videos of different medical procedures, so I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, she absolutely planned on using you to kickstart her influencer career. Fuck that noise. Oh yeah, maybe the girlfriend wants to post this and and start her, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Going viral off someone else's pregnancy, birth-giving video is weird though. That is not the route to social media fame. Also, it's Christmas time, your child is due in February, and she had the opportunity to give you any gift at all, and that's what she goes with. Not gifting or contributing towards like a cot or some nice baby clothes or a little toy or a bunch of diapers or pacifiers or something. A videographer so that she can get famous on social media using your snatch. That's so bizarre. I'm trying to figure out what word to actually call it that won't get me demonetized. I think snatch and coochie should be fine. So yeah, another pretty obvious one, right? Like a very personal, private moment, and you don't want someone filming it against your will, especially when the main goal is potentially to make someone else social media famous. So yeah, not the a-hole, and that makes it 5-0 to the NTAs. That's crazy. This is actually getting embarrassing for the a-holes. Where are they? I do like a post when it's written by an a-hole. I hope there is one in this one, but it's entertaining nonetheless. On to the next one. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend's family that I needed my hands amputated after they kept giving me craft supplies as gifts? What? Hi, Reddit. I, a 25-year-old woman, have been with my boyfriend, a 26-year-old man, for about 3 years. I'm really into crafting and love reusing things most people would throw away, like empty bottles or soda tabs. Over time, my boyfriend's family started saving things for me, like old cans or random scraps, and honestly, I thought it was super sweet. I've always appreciated that they thought of me. That is sweet. But here's where things get kind of weird. So my birthday is super close to my boyfriend's sister's, who's a 28-year-old woman, like only 5 days apart, so we had a joint birthday party last year. As gifts, they gave me a bag full of craft supplies, like soda tabs, empty bottles, and some random other bits and bobs. I mean, it was thoughtful in a way, but then his sister got these super nice gifts, like a Pandora charm bracelet and an Apple Watch. I felt a little embarrassed, to be honest, but I kept smiling and thanked them because I really do appreciate gifts in general. My boyfriend noticed though, and he got really upset. He even wanted to call them out, but I told him to let it go and not cause drama. Then last Christmas happened. A few days before, I'd hurt my wrists at the gym. Nothing major, just a scrape and some bandages. But I hadn't told his family about it since I hadn't seen them. Only my family and my boyfriend knew what actually happened. So Christmas morning comes and we're all opening presents together. His family gave everyone else these amazing gifts. New shoes, jewelry, an iPhone, gift cards worth like hundreds of dollars. But when I opened mine, I got an empty soda bottle, some used and dirty aluminium foil, and a handful of soda tabs. That was it. Look, I'm all about crafting, but this kind of felt insulting. My boyfriend was fuming, but we decided to keep it quiet for now. Then his family asked me, all smiling, "Do you like your gifts?" And I snapped. I smiled back and said, "Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But unfortunately, I won't be able to use them anymore because of my accident." They looked confused, so I explained very seriously that my injury was worse than it looked and that both my hands would have to be amputated. My boyfriend nodded with a straight face and added that we hadn't told anyone yet because it was a really emotional situation for me. Their faces went white. They started apologizing, saying they had no idea and how awful they felt. A few of them even looked like they might cry. I just nodded and said, "It's okay, I'm used to it by now," and left it at that. We left shortly after. But here's the thing, my hands are totally fine. It was just a couple of scrapes, but I was so hurt and angry about the gifts that I wanted them to realize how thoughtless they were being. My boyfriend thinks it was justified, but later his sister texted me saying I was cruel for making a scene and guilt-tripping the whole family on Christmas. I guess the word got to her that my hands are fine. So now I'm starting to feel a little bad. Did I go too far? Am I the a-hole? I mean, I feel like the mix of kind of crap presents alongside everyone else getting much more expensive presents just makes it unfair. Like, if you're into crafts, there are plenty of expensive, fancy things that they could get you, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know exactly what kind of crafts and stuff or what kind of things there are because I'm not really into arts and crafts myself that much, but like sewing machines or stuff or like tools or like a blowtorch or something cool. There's got to be something that they could get that not only shows thought and that they know you like arts and crafts and it's relevant to that, but also that they spent a bit of money on it and didn't just rummage around in their recycling for you. What do the comments say? OP doesn't want her boyfriend to call out his family's BS to avoid drama. Also OP, lies about having her hands amputated, which will certainly lead to drama. For me, that was over the top. You should have let your boyfriend deal with it the first time he wanted to. Thing is, those gifts are an insult. This time, have your boyfriend talk with them. I think it was a little much, but I do understand where you're coming from. You should probably let your boyfriend deal with it, as it's his family. Yeah, I mean, I can't tell if this is just because I would find this so difficult to deal with socially if this happened to me. Like, especially if I was the guy in this scenario, just watching my partner make that kind of statement in front of my family, I'd be like, oh my God, that's a very extreme thing to say. Like, I get it. They're not really thinking about you and you're hurt by it. Your feelings are valid, but is this the best way to go about it? I did offer to have a word with my family, but you said no, and now you're doing this. Like, this is very much taking it to the next level. I think this is one where maybe there are multiple a-holes. I mean, they usually are, but where OP is one as well, because the family obviously did a crap job with the gifts, but the way you dealt with it was, to me, over the top. I agree with some of the comments that that's too far. So I think your feelings are valid, but you did too much. So I think this one is an AH, is an asshole. As you'd expect, again, these are all one-sided stories. Some of them definitely felt a little AI, especially probably that AH one. There was a lot of M dashes, a couple other signs, but who cares? I had fun reading them, and I hope you had fun listening to them. If you did, please feel free to subscribe so you can catch the next episode of Am I the A-hole? And I hope this hasn't actually ruined your Christmas spirits too much. In fact, I hope it's made you look around and go, you know what? No matter how bad things are right now, could be a whole lot worse. And so with that, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, Happy Holidays, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.